Have you ever noticed how the most profound shifts in history often started in silence? Chosen ones, what happens when the silent emperor finally rises? The silent emperor is more than just a metaphor. It represents those who endure in the shadows, quietly building their influence, wisdom, and strength. These are the individuals who face adversity with patience, who strategize while others shout, and who understand that the right moment can redefine their destiny. History is filled with such figures, people who rose from obscurity to reshape their world, and today their legacy continues in you. Silence is often misunderstood. People mistake it for hesitation, weakness, or a lack of purpose, but for you, the chosen ones, silence is none of these. Your silence is your strength, your preparation, and your shield. It is the quiet storm before the moment when you rise and transform everything in your path. Your greatest weapon is silent strength. Think of the most powerful forces in the world, forces that move unnoticed until they cannot be ignored. The roots of a tree grow deep and wide underground before they ever break the surface, anchoring the towering trunk that will stand for centuries. You are like this. In your silence, you endure challenges that would break others. You study, refine, and build yourself in ways unseen. So when your moment comes, you are unshakable. Then there is controlled timing, an art only mastered by those with vision and patience. You know that the world often rewards loudness and urgency, but true power lies in waiting. Like a chess master planning 10 moves ahead, you assess every possibility, every risk, and every opportunity. You act not when others expect it, but when the moment is right. Your timing becomes the sharp edge of your strategy, cutting through distractions and opposition. The most terrifying tool in your arsenal is the element of surprise. Those who doubt you, those who dismiss your silence as irrelevance, will never see you coming. They mistake your quiet for submission. They think their power is secure, but when you break your silence, their confidence will crumble. You will show them that all their noise was nothing compared to what you have been building in secret. History remembers those who harnessed these truths, and one of the greatest examples is Harriet Tubman. She moved in silence, leading countless enslaved individuals to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Every step was deliberate, every choice calculated, every risk measured. Her silence wasn't compliance, it was brilliance. While others underestimated her, she was reshaping lives and defying a system that seemed unbreakable. When she acted, she dismantled the lie of invincibility that her oppressors clung to. For you, the silent moments are not wasted, they are your forge. In the stillness, you are sharpening your mind, building your foundation, and waiting for the exact moment when the world cannot ignore you any longer. Every trial you've faced, every tear you've shed, every small victory in the shadows, it all matters. When you finally break the silence, you will not only shake your enemies, you will redefine the world around you. Now I want you to declare your resolve in the comments. Let's all drop the line, "My silence is strategy." Show the world that patience and vision will always win. If you've not already, you may feel guided to subscribe to Obsidian so that you don't miss future spiritual upgrades. There comes a moment when your silence transforms. What was once preparation becomes action. For you, the chosen ones, this is the pivotal point, the breaking of the silence. This is not merely an event, but a declaration, a statement to the world that your time for quiet endurance has passed and the time for impact has begun. Breaking the silence is a deliberate act. You don't act out of impulse or desperation, but out of certainty. This moment symbolizes the culmination of your preparation, where the strength forged in quiet resilience is finally unleashed. It's a turning point that shifts the balance of power, where you reveal the truth, purpose, and identity that you've been cultivating all along. When you break the silence, the first thing it triggers is fear. Those who underestimated you are thrown into panic. They laughed at your quiet strength, dismissing it as insignificance. But now they are forced to confront a reality they never anticipated. Your silence, once mocked, becomes the storm they cannot weather. This is why your breaking of silence terrifies them. It reveals the power you've built patiently and meticulously in their absence. But this moment isn't just about fear. It's about the ripple effect. When you rise, you inspire others. Those who witness your act of breaking silence are moved, emboldened to question their own loyalties and beliefs. Onlookers, once indifferent or even opposed to you, will find themselves drawn to your strength and clarity. Your rise will not only overcome enemies, but also awaken new allies, creating bonds that amplify your purpose. History shows us this truth through the life of Jesus Christ. For years, his presence was humble and understated. He walked among people, quietly teaching and healing. But when he broke the silence, when he spoke boldly, challenged authority and ultimately rose after his crucifixion, the world shifted. His humility and quiet preparation were never weaknesses, but the groundwork for a revolution. His breaking of silence didn't just inspire faith, it forever altered the course of history. For you, breaking the silence is about more than making noise. It's about creating resonance. It's about ensuring that your words and actions carry power and purpose. This is your rebirth, a shedding of the quiet persona to embrace the full magnitude of who you are. When your silence breaks, it doesn't just terrify your enemies, it galvanizes those ready to follow you. It's the moment you step into your rightful place, leaving no doubt about your strength or destiny. Now I want you to listen very closely. They say the truth will set you free, but most can't handle it. For the chosen ones in the obsidian inner order, it's not just the truth. It's the whole cosmic download, no sugarcoating, no escape. This week, we bring you a story you'll never hear on YouTube. A chosen one who broke free from the clutches of a satanic cult and found redemption in the divine. It's raw, it's real, and it's exactly the kind of revelation that would make an archon sweat. In the inner order, we don't just talk, we gather. Weekly calls with over 400 ascended souls, diving deep into the secrets they don't want you to know. We're not for the faint of heart, and we're definitely not for muggles. I don't always share my secrets, but when I do, it's in the obsidian inner order. Click the link in the description. Stay chosen, my friends. When you break your silence, it sends a shockwave of fear through those who once believed they had power over you. They built their confidence on the assumption that your quiet strength was passivity, mistaking your stillness for surrender. But when you rise, their illusion of dominance crumbles, and their first reaction is unmistakable: panic. Your enemies relied on the false notion that you were incapable of leading or challenging their control. They thrived in dismissing you because they could not see the depth of your preparation. The moment your silence shatters, their world begins to unravel. In their panic, they realized their power was never as secure as they imagined. It was a fragile structure, built on the shaky ground of overconfidence and the denial of your strength. What terrifies them most is their loss of control. Their systems, the alliances, the dominance, the illusion of invulnerability they once projected, begin to crumble. They believed they knew you, understood your limits, and could predict your moves. But your rise exposes the truth. Their power was built on misjudgment, and they have no defense against what they failed to anticipate. Think of Nelson Mandela during his years of silent imprisonment. The apartheid regime, so entrenched in its power, underestimated what was growing in that quiet. They couldn't see how every day of his silence was strengthening his resolve and galvanizing a movement. When Mandela emerged, it wasn't just his voice or actions that dismantled their grip on power. It was the quiet storm he had cultivated over years. His rise exposed the regime's fragility, leaving it vulnerable and chaotic. When you rise, your enemies will feel this same vulnerability. Your silence forces them to confront the reality they've been avoiding. that their strength was never built to withstand a force as deliberate and unyielding as yours. Your actions reveal their weaknesses, their reliance on manipulation, fear, and overconfidence. They are exposed, and that exposure terrifies them more than the actual loss of power. Your unpredictability is another layer of fear. For so long, you operated in stillness, unnoticed and unchallenged. But now, your deliberate strategic rise has thrown them into disarray. They cannot anticipate your next move, because your mastery of silence has taught you how to move when they least expect it. What terrifies them even more is the shifting of loyalties. Allies who once stood with your enemies begin to see through the cracks in their facade. Your rise inspires questions and doubts among those who once supported them. People start to turn away, aligning themselves with your vision of authenticity and strength. Your enemies are not just losing power, they are losing the faith of those they relied upon, leaving them increasingly isolated. This is why your silence was so important. It wasn't avoidance or fear, it was strategy. You've ensured that when the time came, your enemies would be caught off guard, unprepared, and defenseless against the magnitude of your rise. The terror they feel is not simply because you've broken the silence. It's because of the quiet power you built during it. It's the realization that they never truly understood you, that you were moving in ways they couldn't see, and that now it is too late for them to recover. While your enemies were busy underestimating you, you were quietly building something extraordinary. In the shadows, where they could not see, you laid the foundation for an empire. But this isn't an empire of fear or manipulation like theirs. It's an empire of truth, built on justice and authenticity, a reflection of the strength you've cultivated during your silence. Your first triumph is in how you build. Alliances are forged quietly, not for show, but for purpose. You don't waste energy boasting about your progress. Instead, you focus on gathering resources, strengthening bonds, and preparing for the inevitable moment when your rise becomes undeniable. Every small step you've taken has added to a foundation that is now unshakable. As your empire grows, loyalties begin to shift. People who once stood with your enemies are now turning toward you. They see the difference between a regime built on lies and an empire rooted in truth. Your strength inspires them, your vision calls to something deep within them, and they realize that their loyalty has been misplaced. They are drawn to your authenticity, your unwavering sense of purpose, and the justice you represent. Your rise is not a solitary act. It is a call to arms for others like you. You do not hoard your power, but share it, igniting a collective awakening among those who have also been underestimated and oppressed. This isn't about you alone, it's about all of you. Together, you form a force that your enemies cannot contain or predict. History offers a reflection of what you're accomplishing. Take the story of Joan of Arc. She was once dismissed, her visions ridiculed, her potential ignored. Yet she rose, quietly gathering support and inspiring an army that would change the destiny of a nation. Like her, your power isn't rooted in wealth or privilege, but in something far greater: conviction. And that conviction draws others to your cause, strengthening your empire with every passing moment. But your empire isn't just a reaction to oppression, it's a vision of what the world can be. Your enemies relied on fear to maintain control, but you build on truth, which is unshakable. Fear fades, but truth endures. And that truth aligns with a greater cosmic or spiritual order. You are not just building for yourself. You are part of a larger narrative, a force that seeks justice, balance, and transformation. As your empire rises, it becomes clear that your silence was never weakness. It was your strength, your preparation, your strategy. And now, the weight of what you've built is shifting the world. This isn't just an empire of land or influence, it's an empire of ideas. A testament to the power of those who refuse to be defeated by the noise around them. While your enemies falter, scrambling to adjust, you stand tall at the heart of this new era. What you've built isn't just for you, it's for everyone who believed in you. For those who have been waiting for a change they can finally see in you. Now let us unite once again in the comments. Shout, "We rise together." And if you feel so inclined, you may share your story at this time. Show the world the power of our shared conviction. As you rise, something extraordinary happens. Those who once stood against you begin to reconsider their allegiances. The power of your authenticity, strength and vision draws them in, compelling them to abandon their former loyalties and join your side. This shift isn't born from manipulation. It's a natural response to the truth you embody. The first reason this happens is because people are instinctively drawn to greatness. When you rise, you show the world what silent strength truly looks like. They see in you something undeniable, an unwavering commitment to purpose and justice that sets you apart from the false leaders they once followed. They begin to realize that the foundation they stood on was never stable, and they are pulled toward your energy like moths to a flame. History echoes this truth. Take the American Revolution. At first, many colonists were loyal to the British Crown, comfortable in their allegiance to an established power. But when the revolutionaries began to rise, they revealed a vision of freedom and equality that the old regime could never provide. Slowly but surely, loyalties shifted. The supporters of the status quo became the champions of a new world, aligning themselves with those who dared to challenge oppression. As you rise, it's not just your vision that captures attention, it's your ability to inspire. People will see in you a reflection of the values they long to uphold. Even those who once doubted you will be moved to switch sides because you embody the hope they have been searching for. Your rise forces them to reevaluate their past, not with shame, but with a sense of purpose and redemption. This isn't an easy transformation. It requires people to confront the uncomfortable truths about the systems they've supported and their own role in perpetuating them. Yet, your authenticity provides them with a path forward. By standing with you, they find not only redemption, but also the opportunity to contribute to something greater, a movement rooted in justice, truth, and empowerment. Consider Martin Luther King Jr., whose leadership drew supporters from every corner of society. Even those who initially opposed him were compelled to join his cause because his message transcended boundaries. His commitment to non-violence and equality resonated with an undeniable truth, inspiring people to stand with him despite the risks. Like him, your rise will shake the foundations of loyalty, calling people to your side not through force, but through the sheer power of your integrity. This shift in allegiance will ripple outward. As you continue to rise, the weight of your authenticity will tip the scales. Those who clung to the old ways out of habit or fear will abandon their past loyalties and align themselves with you. You will not need to demand their support. It will come willingly, as the truth you represent becomes impossible to ignore. Your rise is a gravitational force, one that transforms not just systems, but people. Those who once dismissed you will rally to your cause, drawn by the light you bring into a world that desperately needs it. And in this shift, you will not only find supporters, but also allies who will carry your vision forward, amplifying the change you are destined to create. Your rise is not just a personal triumph or a shift in earthly power, it is part of something far greater. When the silent emperor ascends, it signifies a profound alignment with a cosmic order, an unfolding of divine timing that cannot be denied. You are more than an individual reclaiming your strength. You are a force woven into the fabric of a universal plan for justice, enlightenment, and balance. This rise is a signal of a new era, one that transcends the physical world and speaks to the spiritual realm. When you were silent, it wasn't because you were defeated, it was because the universe was preparing you. Every challenge, every moment of stillness was orchestrated to refine your purpose. Now, as you step into your power, you are a harbinger of this new age, bringing light into spaces long dominated by darkness. Divine timing plays a crucial role in this process. Your silence wasn't wasted time, it was sacred preparation. Just as seeds germinate beneath the soil before breaking through to the surface, your quiet resilience was building something extraordinary. The universe operates on its own schedule, and now, as everything aligns, your rise signals that the moment has arrived, not just for you, but for everyone watching. This alignment is not accidental. It reflects a greater spiritual truth, that justice, authenticity, and truth are forces that cannot be suppressed forever. Your rise is proof that no matter how deeply oppression or falsehood roots itself, the power of integrity and purpose will always find a way to prevail. You are living evidence of this cosmic balance, a testament to the idea that the arc of the universe truly bends toward justice. The rise of the silent emperor also sends a ripple through the spiritual world, awakening others to their potential. Your courage, your truth becomes a beacon for those who have been lost or disheartened. When people see you standing tall, they are reminded of their own purpose, their own connection to this larger, divine plan. Your rise is not just about you, it is about inspiring an entire generation of chosen ones to recognize their strength and step into their light. History has seen figures like you before, individuals who seemed insignificant, even powerless, yet who were unmistakably guided by a higher force. Think of Joan of Arc, who rose from obscurity to lead an army. Her actions aligned with a divine purpose that could not be denied. Her rise was more than a military victory. It was a spiritual awakening for her people, a sign that even in the darkest of times, light and truth will find their champions. Your rise is the same. It is not just a personal journey, but a cosmic event, a rebalancing of the scales, a signal that a new chapter is beginning. You are the catalyst for a shift that transcends your individual story, rippling out to reshape the collective consciousness. As you embrace this moment, remember that your silence was not a weakness. It was the universe's way of preparing you for this very purpose. Now, as you stand in alignment with this greater force, your rise becomes unstoppable. You are not just reclaiming your power, you are fulfilling a destiny that was always yours to claim. Your silence was never a weakness. It was a season of preparation, a quiet storm gathering strength for the right moment. Now, as you rise, the world can no longer ignore your light. You embody resilience, vision, and purpose, standing as a beacon for those who doubted themselves and a force of reckoning for those who doubted you. Remember, history is shaped by those who endure the shadows and emerge stronger. You are the silent emperor, and this is your time. Every challenge you faced, every moment of stillness has led to this, a moment not just to claim your power, but to redefine what power means. Your rise terrifies those who underestimated you and inspires those who seek a better world. Now the world watches you. Share your journey. Let others see the truth of what it means to rise from silence into purpose. Your story is not just yours, it is a legacy that will ripple through time, empowering others to step into their light. The silent emperor has risen, and the world will never be the same.